18-year-old Henry Nowak had his whole life ahead of him when he went for a night out with his friends in Southampton. Walking home at around 11 p.m, Henry was in good spirits as he exchanged messages on Snapchat. Then he encountered 23-year-old Vikram Digwa, caught on camera saying, "I am a bad man." Digwa whipped out an 8-inch Shastar knife. Digwa then viciously attacked Henry, aggressively pursuing him as he desperately tried to flee, leaving a literal trail of blood. Police were then called to the scene. Now, if you haven't seen this story already, try to guess what the police did when they arrived. Go on, have a go. Crazy man carrying an 8-inch blade. Victim bleeding out. What's the first thing the police did? Well, obviously, they arrested Henry for being racist. Yeah. That's what they did. Police were called to the scene but arrested Mr. Nowak after Digwa claimed he had been racially abused. Presumably, the police believed Digwa's lie that Henry hadn't been stabbed, despite him literally leaking blood. They put Henry in handcuffs and he passed out and died a short time later. He literally drowned in his own blood after having his lung punctured by the knife. Vikram Digwa raises the defense of self-defense. He persisted that Henry perpetrated a drunken racist attack, except Henry wasn't drunk. He'd drunk less than the legal drink-drive limit, and the incident was captured on Henry's phone, which was later found in Digwa's pocket. It shows no evidence of Henry saying anything racist, as if that was an excuse to stab him 4 times anyway. And a later conversation between Digwa and his brother revealed that Digwa admitted to stabbing him, but made no mention of any racism. But wait, because believe it or not, it gets even more ridiculous. Under UK law, obviously, it's illegal to be carrying around an 8-inch knife in public, unless you're a brown Sikh man. In the UK, Sikhs are legally permitted to carry a kirpan knife in public as it is protected under religious exemption laws. Under this exemption, the blade can be up to 9 inches in length. Yeah. Really. Women aren't even allowed to carry pepper spray. But people from certain other communities can literally walk the streets with giant daggers hanging from their necks. If I buy more than 6 kitchen knives from Amazon, they'll inform the police. Meanwhile, Digwa and his mates get a religious exemption to tool up with deadly weapons, so long as they wear a kirpan. They even made a special exemption to the 2019 offensive weapons ban, allowing them to do so, which at the time the Indian Tribune newspaper bragged about. What was that about diversity being our greatest strength?
Diversity is a strength.
By the way, I absolutely know for sure they're going to bury this one in the algorithm, so please leave a like and comment to spread awareness. But wait until you hear what Digwa's defense lawyer said. After his entire family rushed to the scene, Digwa asked his mother to take the knife, which was later found at his home among an arsenal of weapons. An arsenal I'm surely he just had for religious reasons or whatever. Now get a load of what Digwa's defense barrister said. Mr. Wainwright KC said, was Vikram Digwa carrying a knife or carrying, for legitimate religious purposes, a kirpan dagger for religious reasons? Totally legitimate purposes. The fact that his victim's blood and fatty tissue was found on it, well, does that really matter? They're actually claiming Digwa acted in self-defense because Henry might have said something racist. The prosecution say there was categorically not a racially motivated attack by Mr. Nowak, but have they made you sure of that with evidence? Was there a deliberate intention by Vikram Digwa to inflict really serious harm or kill when he used his kirpan? Or was he acting in the heat of the moment in self-defense? He stabbed him 4 times, puncturing his lung. Acting in self-defense against what? Mean words, which there's no proof he even said anyway. But did Digwa and his brother at the time realise they were dealing with a dying man? Yeah, the massive trail of blood might have been a clue. Or was their anger generated by someone who was drunk, who had racially attacked them, and they weren't aware of the extent of those injuries? Again, as if alleged unpleasant words justify stabbing someone 4 times, then lying about it to the police, so they arrest the guy who's literally dying for being racist. Same Hampshire police force, by the way, which arrested a veteran for posting a meme which upset the rainbow people.
Can you just remind me again why I'm being arrested?
Right, so you're under arrest for section 127 of the Communications Act.
While failing to even respond to 78% of burglaries. Same police force that's launched endless campaigns against knife crime. while targeting the dying victim of it as a prime suspect because a crazy man with a knife accused him of being racist. Same police force that published this knife crime awareness training video.
I've had to deal with young people losing their lives through knife crime. It doesn't just affect the person who's been killed, it strongly affects the person who's actually carried out that, who's killed somebody.
Yeah, won't someone think of the poor murderer? Maybe someone said something racist. Don't forget to immediately arrest the victim for the good of diversity. Just in case. Add what happened to Henry Nowak to the ever-growing list of examples where so-called anti-racism leads to actual real-world harm. The Mannheim attack, where the police officer who rushed in to arrest a German anti-Islam activist was immediately stabbed in the neck by an Afghan Islamist. The Nottingham killer who wasn't sectioned because he was black. The entire grooming gang scandal, which was covered up by authorities because they didn't want to be seen as racist. And of course the biggest example, the fact that the Manchester Arena jihadist wasn't stopped because the security guards who saw him acting suspiciously didn't want to be called racist. Pathological altruism has metastasized into a societal norm where being racist is treated as worse than being a literal murderer. Now don't forget when George Floyd happened, which whatever you think happened as a result of police action, it happened thousands of miles away in a different country. Yet hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets in the UK to protest it. Our entire society and culture was changed. This happens to Henry as a result of police action, and it's barely a news story. Here today, gone tomorrow. And what will change? Absolutely nothing. Why? Because the victim was white and the perpetrator wasn't.